Thanks for being my co-pilot.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Hey, welcome everybody from around the world, whether you're, I should say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're calling in from. I know we got some people calling in from the States. It'd be bright and early, and people perhaps from Europe and obviously Australia and New Zealand. So my name is Bart Cotter. I've got the great pleasure and honor of introducing an amazing gentleman. Mr. Mal Sword is really quite a legend in our profession, in this industry. You've got, I think, is it 55 years? I think it's 35 years with Dan Doyle, would say, since 1910.
That is doily.
Yeah. Mal Sword is an expert in our profession. He's truly put some incredible runs on the board. What's interesting about Mal is he has not only is he successful in our profession, he's built organizations. He'll tell you perhaps on this webinar why what we've got our hands on is so incredibly special, because he's had an opportunity to be involved with a number of different companies, and why he's chosen ASEA for the products as well as the business model that we have to share. Mal has a pretty interesting background. In fact, he just got back from Africa, where he's been building homes for some people that are in need. He's got a heart of gold and loves to enjoy and experience life to the fullest. Mal has one of the fastest growing teams globally with this company, because he's passionate about what these products are doing and how this business model can help people as well. Mal, let's see, father of 8 as well, father of 8 kids, resides in the Brisbane, Australia area. And Mal is a double ambassador diamond, one of the highest ranks in all of ASEA. Certainly ranked amongst the top leaders. So with that, Mal, I'd love to turn the time over to you, and thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts on ASEA with us tonight.
Thank you, Bart. Thank you very much. So good evening, everyone. I was in the chat box just before, and I noticed that there were some people online here from America. So good morning. I think it's good morning over there. It's probably good morning in Europe. If there's anybody on the call this evening from Europe, good morning, and good evening to everybody that's in Australia. If you're here for the first time, if you've been invited onto this Zoom webinar to have a listen to this webinar this evening, I'm going to walk through the presentation, and I'm going to come at this largely from the business point of view, largely from the opportunity. There is plenty of validation, there's plenty of science available for those of you that are looking for the evidence of what these amazing products can do, and but the background that I come from and the way that I like to share this opportunity with people is very much about the window of opportunity that we have with this incredible company and this incredible technology called redox signaling molecules, and the company, of course, is called ASEA. So, excuse me. So if you could move on to the next, thanks, Bart. So this is a pretty heavy statement, the greatest scientific and medical breakthrough of our time. And I remember the first time that I actually heard that was in the boardroom at the company in Utah, in Salt Lake City, when I was there actually a few years ago with Bart Cotter and also with Danny Doyle. And when this statement was made, it was kind of like I was kind of my mind was kind of saying, "Wow, that's a very big statement. That's a very significant statement." But having been with ASEA now for 3 years, I absolutely believe that this is the case. We have the most significant products and the most significant technology. Many scientists are hailing this technology as being 15 to 20 years ahead of its time. And I've heard the great Dr. Gary Samuelson saying potentially this may be the most significant medical breakthrough for 100 years. So it is a very significant breakthrough, and you and I have the privilege of being able to take this product range to market. And it's the first time in history. If you look at the history of our industry, this is the first time ever that a disruptive or transformational technology has been delivered to market this way. Normally, this kind of technology, these kind of products are the domain of the pharmaceutical companies or the very large companies that have the rights or the opportunity to take these kind of products to market. Whereas you and I have the privilege of being able to deliver these products to market, and that's thanks to the generosity, really. There's a story behind that you can watch. There's a great little video called the Genesis of ASEA. with our founder, Vertis Norton, who'll explain why he actually chose this method of distribution. So it's landed on our plate, on our table, and many of us are incredibly grateful and feeling very blessed that we have this technology to be able to take to the world. Thank you, Bart. So this is a word of mouth. It's a referral-based business model, and it enables every single person to generate a serious income if that's what you're here for. And look, not everybody is. I've been in this industry a long time, and a number of people come to a business like this because they would like to create some additional income on a part-time basis to pay their mortgage, pay their school fees, to pay for some holidays. Some of you are here for a bigger purpose. Some of you are here for a residual income. As I was when I started developing the ASEA business in around February 2016, I had a very clear objective, and that was, because of my age probably, to develop and set up an exit strategy, an exit plan of income. And ASEA business has definitely been able to accomplish that in a relatively short period of time, being 3 years, which for any business is not a long period of time. And so this does allow you and I to be able to deliver and create an income that we want. The business model is a smorgasbord. It allows everybody to take out of it what they want. I'm not here to suggest that you need to make $5 million a year if your aim is to make $500 a month. That's entirely your decision. And of course, the work ethic is commensurate with the income. Those of you that want to make a significant income, put in a significant contribution of effort, and those that want to earn less, you need to put in less so that it's fair. It's free enterprise. These are the new corporate headquarters. This, of course, is the beautiful mountains of Utah. And ASEA is the global leader in redox signaling-based health and anti-aging technologies. Not only is it the global leader, it's the only company in the world. This is the only company on planet Earth that produces and creates these redox signaling molecules. And for those of you that don't know, redox signaling molecules are native to the human body. It's an area of science that is still very young. The origin, without going into too much detail on this webinar, the origin started in 1998 when 3 Italian scientists won the Nobel Prize for understanding the significance of redox signaling molecules in the human body and what they actually do. And from that time, the race was on to try and stabilize these redox signaling molecules outside of the human body. This company has done it. A very heavily patent. We have patents rolling forward 20 years. We have no competitor in the market. So for those of you on this call that are entrepreneurial, looking for a gap, looking for a window, what I would call a star business, this will definitely give you that opportunity. We have no competitors and won't have any competitors in this range. There are actually only 5 people on planet Earth that know how to produce these molecules. So we're in a very exciting and a very protected space. Thanks, Bart. These two gentlemen, the gentleman on the left of the screen is the gentleman I referred to before, and I would suggest that you watch the video, The Genesis of ASEA. Vertis is one of the most significant human beings that I've had the privilege to meet. His background was traditional corporate American business. He rose to very high ranks in the corporate world in America. He ended his career in the corporate world. He ended up as a strategic vice president for Kraft Foods, a $38 billion company, and is incredibly well respected in America. He is one of the who's who of America's corporate industry. And after he left Kraft, which I believe was in Chicago, he went home to Utah. He built a beautiful home in Park City to retire. His wife, of course, hoped he had retired, but Vertis is probably like many of us. He's not the kind of man to sit home and on a rocking chair and twiddle his thumbs and wait for something else to happen. And he was then invited to sit on the board of a biotech company that was working to produce these molecules, these redox signaling molecules, and had been for some 15, 16 years. He was invited to sit on the board, and the genesis of ASEA will tell you the story, how he actually acquired the technology and all the patents that protect this amazing technology. The gentleman on the right, of course, is his son, who now runs the company. Vertis is, in fact, I think in his early 80s, and now takes a backseat role. He does sit on the board, and I hope that you have the privilege of meeting this great man at some stage if you decide to join us on this journey with this great company. Thank you, Bart. So the ASEA, the redox signaling molecules and the company was based on many years of research. In fact, I think from the start in 1998, to the time that the molecules were actually stabilized, it was 16 to 17 years. Many millions of dollars, I think 15 to 17 million dollars was invested in the technology. And finally, the products were launched onto the market in 2010, albeit at that stage into the United States, Canada, and then Mexico. We are still rolling out, I'll share that with you in a minute, we are still rolling this technology into the world. It's still very young in terms of the understanding and the knowledge behind this technology, very early days. Even in the markets that we operate in, less than 1% of the population still knows about this technology. So I don't want anybody on the call thinking, have I missed the boat yet? You haven't missed the boat. You're still at the very early stages. We are the pioneers of this technology. And interestingly enough, if we go back to the 80s, most people had never heard of antioxidants, and yet today, I think pretty much everybody on planet Earth has heard of antioxidants. Redox signaling molecules is a far more significant breakthrough than antioxidants, and right now, still most people have not yet heard of these amazing molecules. We've had significant growth year on significant growth every year, financially strong and profitable. The company was debt-free after 9 months. You can imagine the company that has been run by a gentleman who was the strategic vice president of Kraft Foods. We're in incredibly good hands. One of the keys that I hold very dear is with a business like this, any business like this, is know the owners, know who owns the company, know their integrity, know who they are. And it's very important to me that I know the gentlemen that own this company, and I trust these men implicitly. Sales exceeds 100 million, that's US million dollars. And the aim is that we'll reach $1 billion within 5 years. It may be a little bit sooner than that as we reach into a number of the Asian markets, which is now growing incredibly quickly. And ASEA is perfectly positioned ahead of the growth that will come in the next few years in the three big markets, huge markets in the world: the health market, the wellness and anti-aging industries, and also the athletic industries. Thank you, Bart. So here on the left-hand side of the screen are a number of the management team that we have with this company, with ASEA. I've been in business a long time, and this is the finest group of people that I've ever had the privilege to work with. They're genuine, they're honest, and very, very clever business people. The people you're seeing on the right-hand side of the screen are the medical advisory board. Many of the people that have onboarded with ASEA are from a medical background, from different walks of life. Here we have some chiropractors I can see, general practitioners, pediatricians, naturopaths, very different modalities, all of whom are now helping us to drive this amazing technology to the world. So here are some of the markets that we're already in. There are some there that are not actually highlighted, some of the Asian countries that are not highlighted. So in the Asian region, which of course is the region that we operate in because is a part of Australasia, we are a part of that. And this is probably, I think, the most significant markets for this technology in the world because of the population base. Just go back 2 seconds if you don't mind. So just let me run through the markets for those of you that have connectivity up into Asia. We're already opened in Singapore, we're open in Hong Kong, we're open in Taiwan, we're open in Thailand, and we're just about to go to full launch into the Philippines. And we believe the next two markets that will launch in Asia will be Malaysia and Japan, which we're hoping will be late this year, early 2020. Huge possibilities. I mentioned before, less than 1% currently knows about us, and that's in the markets that we're operating in. In the markets we don't operate in, there's probably even less people or less than 1%, I'm sure, that even heard of redox signaling molecules. So the potential for this globally is phenomenal. We mentioned before $1 billion, but of course that's the beginning. That's just the thin end of the wedge. So the industries that we operate in with these amazing products, we're in three of the world's biggest industries: the health and the health and wellness industries, the beauty and anti-aging industries, which of course is massive in the Asian regions, and then of course the athletic performance. We already have many very significant athletes in the world that are taking this technology for recovery and for well-being. The three markets together over $4 trillion of business a year, massive growth year on year. And we have some of the most unique and advanced products in these industries. And as I mentioned before, totally protected. Nobody else, you will not acquire redox signaling molecules from any other company on planet Earth, which is incredible. The products do things that no other products can do because they're the only products in the world with these redox signaling molecules. And we'll talk about that a little bit further through the presentation. So here's some before and after pictures. They say that a picture tells 1,000 words. Interesting, the lady on the left of your screen is a naturopath from Norway. Her name is Rydun Bone, and somebody actually sent her, a friend of hers sent her a tube of the Renew 28, which is the redox molecules, the topical version of the redox molecules. And after a few weeks, she said, look, I don't think this is actually doing very much for me. And the lady that had sent her the gel said, did you by any chance take a photo before you started? And she said, yes, I did. And she said, have you got a photo from today? And she said, yes. And then she compared the photos, and you can see clearly the difference. Now, those two photos on the left, I think, were taken either 3 weeks apart or 4 weeks apart. And you can very clearly see the difference in her neck. So needless to say, she has gone on to build a massive organization in the Scandinavian region as a result of what her own personal experience was. Thank you, Bart. So this is these range of products. There are two products on the right-hand side of the screen, the Renew 28 in the taller tube and the little serum in the blue needle nose tube. Those two products contain the redox signaling molecules. These are the topical version. The Renew 28 is 3 to 5 times more concentrated than the drink, the supplement version of the product we have. And then the serum is even more concentrated. It's 3 to 5 times more concentrated than the Renew 28. Often people ask me, can I use the serum all over my body? And the answer is yes, you can use it everywhere. It's just more expensive. It's a lot more expensive. Being a lot more concentrated, it's more expensive than the Renew 28. The two products on the left-hand side of the screen do not contain redox, but the 4 products, so the one on the left-hand side is a cleanser. The one next to it is the moisturizer. And this then completes the skincare kit or the skincare regime that ASEA produces. And this came about largely from the associates in the business requesting that ASEA produces this. So we have the most amazing redox signaling technology, but a lot of people were asking for a full skincare set, full skincare range, and this was introduced to the market in the middle of 2016. Thank you, Bart. So this is the bottle you just saw there is the marquee product. This was the first product that ASEA came to market with. It's a drink. And so this was the original market, and then 2 or 3 years later, they produced the gel, which is the gel, which is obviously a topical version of the redox signaling molecules that you drink. So one works on the inside out, and the other works on the outside in. Here's some of the athletes that have been using the redox technology. Cody Miller at the top left, Eddie Hall, who I believe is the world's strongest man. Last year lifted, I think it was 500 kilograms. We've had a number of leading athletes. One of the most notable athletes that used it, well, I assume he still is using the product, is a gentleman called James Lawrence. And you can Google him if you Google James Lawrence and ASEA. James Lawrence is an Ironman athlete, and in 2015 completed 50 Ironman events in 50 days in the United States, in 50 different states. So he did an Ironman event, completed that, traveled to another state, did another one in another state, and did that 50 consecutive days. And I'm told drank 3 bottles of ASEA a day so that he could back up each and every day to do the next Ironman event. It's never been done before. I very much doubt it'll ever be done. It'll never be done again. So here are the two key products: the redox liquid on the supplement on the left, and the redox Renew 28 on the right hand side of the screen. So redox signaling molecules are naturally produced inside every single cell in our bodies, and what they do is they detect cell damage so they can be repaired or replaced, and helps to increase the cell's production of glutathione, the most powerful antioxidant, protects against cell damage and oxidative stress, and fundamental for the immune system, protect against harmful bacteria, viruses, and infection. So often people say, well, if I already have these redox molecules, and this is a very fair question, if I already have these redox molecules in my body, why would I need to take more? Why would I need to supplement and ingest more of these redox signaling molecules if I produce them? And the answer to that is that what we know about these redox molecules is that at puberty, we maximize the production of these molecules in our body. And then every year we drop production by 1%. So every decade we're dropping 10%. So people, folks that are in their 60s are producing somewhere around 15 to 20% of what they were producing at puberty. But now, of course, we can ingest these molecules, drink these molecules, and top up our bodies, our systems, to produce the same amount of molecules that we did when we were at puberty. So an easy example to kind of look at and understand is that, you know, when we were young, when we were kind of kids, fall over and graze our knee or you know, cut ourselves, the time to heal was incredibly fast. It often was just days. As we age, as we get older, the time to heal takes a lot longer, and largely that's because of the lack of redox signaling molecules in our system, in our body. There is a lot of validation now. This is probably the fastest growing area of medical science in the world, notwithstanding most people still have not heard of it, still not heard of these redox signaling molecules. We now have over 17,000 peer-reviewed articles and 1,500 books that have been published on redox signaling molecules. And for decades, scientists have tried to produce these molecules. As I mentioned before, since 1998, the race really began in earnest to try and produce these redox molecules outside of the human body. Very, very complicated. Many scientists in America that Virtus Norton contacted said, Virtus, it's impossible. You'll never be able to stabilize these molecules. I heard a scientist in Adelaide, I think it was early last year, describe how impossible this was. And in layman's terms, the way he shared this was, he said, it's like taking an empty bottle and pouring into that empty bottle 50% boiling water and 50% cold water, and they don't mix. And he said, in every bottle of ASEA, that's what you have. You have the impossible made possible in a bottle of redox, in a bottle of ASEA, the stabilized redox signaling molecules that was deemed impossible. And it actually took a man that I'll share with you in a minute, Dr. Gary Samuelson, finally to stabilize these amazing products. The protection we have is that they're very heavily patented. As I mentioned before, from a commercial point of view, those of you that have an entrepreneurial mind, an entrepreneurial spirit, if you really understand, can get to a point of understanding how significant this breakthrough is, and you and I are the only ones individually that can take this to market. We have no competitor in this space. It really is to an entrepreneur, it's like waving raw meat in front of a savage dog. I don't think it would ever get any better. I'll never see another ASEA in my lifetime. And for most of you on the call, I don't think you will either. If you're in your 20s, you may, but you might have to wait another 40, 50 years before you see anything like this. I won't see it again in my lifetime. So the production process is patented. You can see here on the right, the plant. We actually went through the plant in 2014. It's also in Utah, Pleasant Grove, Utah. There's a company, an independent company. This is very much worth mentioning. There is a company called BioAgilytix. And BioAgilytix is a laboratory that actually works for 20 of the top 25 pharmaceutical companies in the United States. And BioAgilytix certifies that every batch that is produced from ASEA's plant is full of these redox signaling molecules. And look, a company like BioAgilytix is simply not going to put their stamp of approval onto a product that is not full of these redox signaling molecules. And so every batch is independently verified. That's very significant for us that we have an independent, it's like an independent audit, if you like, of the products of every single batch that gives these products the verification, the validation that these products are full of these redox signaling molecules. Thank you, Bart. This is the gentleman that I was mentioning before. Again, an incredible human being. Many of you probably on the call have met this man. He is one of the most humble human beings that you'll ever meet. Notwithstanding, in my opinion, the man is a genius. Dr. Gary Samuelson, he was the gentleman who stabilized these redox molecules after many of the top scientists in the United States said it'll never happen, it's impossible, you'll never be able to do it. And this is the comment that that Dr. Samuelson made. Let me just move my little thing over. The redox signaling process is remarkable because it is the process that allows us to regenerate tissue and maintain our normal function and capacities. This technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health we have ever seen. In fact, it was Dr. Gary Samuelson in interview probably about 9 months ago now that said that he believes that this may be the most significant medical breakthrough for the next 100 years. Not the 100 years gone, but for the next 100 years. So it is a very large, very major breakthrough, and we're very grateful that we have the opportunity of being able to help drive this to the markets of the world. This gentleman is, I believe he's a chiropractor. He's an American man. We call him the half-face man. He wanted to actually see visibly if this would have an impact on his face. And so he used the Renew 28 only on the right-hand side of his face, left of screen. And he used that for 1 month on the left-hand side of his screen. And you can see the difference between left and right-hand side of his face. If you look at the left-hand side of his face, right to screen, it looks like he's got Bell's palsy. In fact, you can kind of see there's a lean. Looks like there's a lean on his glasses. He doesn't do this anymore, by the way. He's leveled his face up, and he's now even on both sides as he continues to use the Renew 28. But it's very visible, and what's great about the Renew 28 is we can see very quickly, in many cases, the visible difference that these molecules do on the outside. Well, you can imagine what the redox molecules also do on the inside, although it's harder to take a photo of it from the inside of your body, but you can see very visibly what it does on the outside of the human body. This is another gentleman that just for a few days, I think. So here we go, Renew 28 twice a day for 3 days, then once a day for 3 days. And you can see the results. Some people respond incredibly quickly to this technology. There is a protocol that ASEA has now over the 19 years that we've been operating in business. And that is that 30% of people see a difference in 30 days, 60% in 60 days, 90% in 90 days. About 10% will take longer, but some people are very fast. Some people in a matter of days have very significant health breakthroughs with this product. I've seen that countless times now in the 3 years since I've been developing the ASEA business. This young man went from having challenges getting some dates to now having plenty of dates. I mean, you can see what this would do to improve the young man's self-image, his self-confidence, and in just a relatively short period of time. Thank you, Bart. This was actually the condition when I first looked at this technology, and when I went over there to look at the company, my interest in this was really not for any commercial reasons. It was simply for my health. This was a skin condition that had been troubling me for 40 plus years. And I went over to America to see if this could help with my skin. This was a condition. I won't mention the condition, but you can see what it's done for this lady. This lady, I believe, is from Port Macquarie. And I'm told within 6 weeks, that condition went from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. And it has also had a major improvement, major impact on my life as well. Thank you, Bart. So some more, moles on this lady's face, but just look underneath the little box. As you can see, most people obviously look inside the little red box, but if you just look at underneath the little red box on the left of screen, and then you look at the little red box on the right of screen, you can also see the dramatic change in the lines and the wrinkles in her face as well. Again, this is from the topical Renew 28. Thank you, Bart. So these are some independent clinical studies. The company at the top, Stephens and Associates, did a 4-week study on the Renew 28, and Stephens and Associates is a US-based company, and you can see for yourself the improvement, the percentage improvement. Probably the most significant one there is the increase in blood flow. 50% is a massive increase in blood flow. The company down the bottom did the trials on the serum. On the redox serum. This is a German company. Dermatest is a German company, very highly regarded globally. And Dermatest gave these products, or gave the Renew Advanced a 5-star guarantee. And they won't give a 5-star guarantee to any product if any of the people on the trials had any challenges, issues, reactions, allergic reactions, problems. They'll only give 5-star guarantee if every single respondent had a significant improvement. Well, you can see the numbers there. And after 4 weeks of using the product, 90% of people on the trial said they wanted to purchase the product. I mean, you can see why. Those figures are pretty impressive. It'd be hard to get anything, much better than those. They're very impressive. Thank you, Bart. So here's the two products again. The Redox is the liquid. We drink that 2 or more times a day. In my own case, I drink the liquid twice a day, and it's an inside out. So it works these redox molecules on the inside out. And then, of course, the gel that we've been speaking about before also on the outside in. So generally people that come onto this product, and one of the things we encourage people to do is to drink the ASEA. Sometimes people say, well, I'll drink it if I've got a problem. The best time to take redox signaling molecules is probably when you don't have a problem. People spend a fortune when they've got a problem, but prevention is probably way better than waiting until you've got a problem and then trying to fix it. So often people report less fatigue, better sleep, improved health, improved mood, and less discomfort. So these are generally things when they start using the products, often within a week or 2 weeks, we'll start reporting increased energy levels and better sleep, better moods by being on the product. Thank you, Bart. Also for athletes, improves athletic performance, endurance. I mentioned before James Lawrence, a gentleman that did the 50 Ironman events in 50 days, and he was using the product for recovery and also for mental stamina. We have, as I mentioned, many Olympic athletes are using these products because you can't be tested for this. It's not a drug. Let me just also share with you that one of the other questions people ask is, does the product have FDA approval? The Federal Drug Administration in the United States, no, it hasn't, and it will never have FDA approval because it's not a drug. It has no toxicity. Water has a level of toxicity. You can overdose on H2O. You can't overdose on this because it's already in your body. It can't be drug tested for it. It's not a drug, but it's native to the human body. And so it can never be an issue with testing. You can drink as much as you like, can't overdose on it. It's completely non-toxic. And so for athletes, it's perfect. So here's some of the athletes that we have that have been using the product. Bria Larson, Olympic gold medal swimmer for the US, and Cody Miller, who I think was either the bronze medal winner or the gold medal winner in Rio de Janeiro at the last Olympic Games. And you can see a variety of athletes. There's a very good link down there that you can look at, athletes.aseaglobal.com. And it's a great link to have a look at. Just click on once more for me, Bart, if you wouldn't mind. This is a report from the Huffington Post. This is an online publication from America, very widely known. And this is from a report from June 2016. And this is what the Huffington Post said at that time. Here are 5 of the craziest game-changing technologies that are starting to take off in 2016. Pay attention, some of these will shape our lives in the coming years. Organic electronics, nutrigenomics, synthetic biology, and number 4, redox signaling technology. Redox signaling molecules have been around for eons, but it isn't until recently that we've learned about their central importance in our health on a cellular level. 1998. New technology is emerging that inserts healthy redox signaling molecules into your body. ASEA, the only company in the world that produces these, helping to repair and replenish your aging cells. Every single one of us in this call, I guarantee, want to look younger, stay younger for longer. And since we're made up entirely of cells, every organ in the body can potentially benefit from this new technology. Another great link to have a look at there is at the top left, www.aseascience.com. Thank you, Bart. Let me now go into the business plan, and this opportunity will allow you to generate income, serious income if you want. Serious income is different to different people. Some people's serious income is, $10,000 a month. Some people's serious income is probably $200,000 or $300,000 a month. But it will allow you to generate serious income at whatever level serious is for you by introducing contacts to ASEA without changing your schedule. So our business model is referral based. You recommend people exactly as you do with a restaurant or a good movie. It's a word of mouth business. And, the only people that really struggle with a business like this are what I call the secret agents. You know, you really have to communicate and share this with people. Knowing about it and saying nothing to anybody else or sharing it with anybody, it's going to be difficult for you to create a large organization. And what I found in the 27 years that I've been building this is, you know, people don't bite. I've never had anybody that's bitten me. Most people are incredibly nice. The people are either looking or they're not. That's fine. People are either looking for a health benefit or a breakthrough, or they're not. And that's fine. It's just asking the question. And if you treat people nicely, I found they'll treat you nicely. So, you know, it's a really simple business. It's not complicated. Mostly it's just getting our own minds right about sharing this with people. So you refer your contacts to us, you'll get paid every time they use the products month after month. And of course, the people that they introduce, you introduce will introduce other people. And gradually you'll create volume and organizations, and this builds residual income, excuse me. And, you know, with the compensation plan, I'm not going to go through all of the compensation plan, but we are rewarded on volume. Now, where does volume come from? Volume comes from numbers. So if you develop an organization of, you know, 3 to 5 people, you won't create much volume with that, and so you won't create much income. If you create an organization of, you know, 100 people or hundreds of people, there's some good volume, you'll start to get paid some income. If you create a distribution channels around the world of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, you'll create massive volume, and you'll get rewarded with massive income. So it's all about creating volume, and the SEER rewards us for doing that. They pay us to create these distribution channels around the world. You're free to build it in 32, 35 countries now around the world. And as we build these distribution channels, as your distribution channels grow, so will your income start to grow all over the world. So here you can see how we start. Just keep going through all of these, Bart. You'll just see how it grows. Really like flowers as you sort of introduce different people, and some of the people you'll find will build massive organizations. Some people you'll introduce will just want to use the product. That's happened in my experience. I've introduced people that just want to use the product, and that's fine. I've introduced people that have built massive organizations. I've introduced people that have built small organizations, and it's fine. It's a smorgasbord for each of you. So every time I refer and introduce somebody, my aim is to help them to produce what they want from this business model. So ultimately, you'll have organizations around the world in every continent. What you do is completely up to you. I think I've mentioned that a couple of times. The business is designed to do part-time around your existing schedule. There are some people that have come to this and built it initially on a full-time basis, but probably 95, 98%, as I did, build it kind of part-time initially. As in any business, there's a cost of getting started, but there is no barrier for entry. This is the investment to get your business off the ground is $60. So it's very inexpensive. You want to get some tax advice, but I would suggest this time of the year, that's probably a tax deduction for you to open your business account. There are also various product packages. There are 4 different ones available, and you can talk to the person that invited you here this evening as to what those 4 packages are. At least 4 packages in Australia, I should mention. There are 8 ways to earn money. We are paid by a SEER weekly, and then at the higher levels, there is also a monthly bonus that is also paid. As you can see, there are many different ways here to generate the income. It's a very generous compensation plan. 50% of everything that is received by SEER comes back to the field, the associates that are developing their business. It's very generous. It's the most generous compensation plan that I've ever seen in my life. And it's very fair. It rewards the people that do the work and the people that build the organizations and create volume, and which in my opinion is fair. That's free enterprise. So it's a very exciting compensation. There are also many rewards. Many of the associates right now are in Cancun in a 5-star resort in Mexico, enjoying 4 or 5 days. Incentives put on by the company to help us to do what we want to do anyway, that is to create organizations, and they throw out these rewards for us to, stay focused and to build our organizations. And, my background, my heritage is Scottish, and so if there's a free trip going, I love to go on them. And they've been some amazing trips already. The business is simple. It really is. It often is not simple in people's minds, but it is simple. And really that is just learning how to reach out and share this with other people. And that is learned, like everything, like every skill that you and I develop, it is a learned skill. Anyone can do this, and it works. Now, there are rules to it. There's rules of persistence. The rules of a business like this is that there's a process to it. It's not an event. There's a process to building organizations and process to building a business like this. Thank you, Bart. So the business is simple. Anyone can do it. There's quick start training. We have basic training. We have leadership training. We have corporate events. We have weekly webinars. We have two in Queensland, Australia, two webinars like this where we have somebody that will share the business model like this, where you can bring new people to have a listen. So here's kind of the steps of building your ASEA business. Every one of us starts off in let's say base camp. Base camp here is associate, and as we climb the mountain, there are different levels. As we climb the mountain, let me just give you some approximate income levels, so you can see a few levels up. There's a level there called Director 700. Great level to start your business growing. That could take you a few weeks. It could take you a few months to get to that level. And a Director 700 on average will earn about $1,000 per month. Then you move on up to the Silver Executive level. Silver Executive in Australia, in Australian dollars, I would generally suggest, with the EMP bonus, which is a bonus payable in the executive ranks, about $5,000 a month. And then you go on up to the diamond level, somewhere around $15,000, $18,000 per month. And then you move on up from there. So it's very much like climbing a mountain. And once you learn how to climb, then you're free to climb as far as you want to go, as far as your dream encourages you to go. When you enroll, when you open your account with ASEA, you also get your own virtual office. It is incredibly user-friendly. Most of you know that my skill set is limited when it comes to technology. Hence the reason I have Bart Cotter to operate as my co-pilot on this. But this back office is very user-friendly. I can work my way around this very easily. It's very user-friendly. Once you go into it and start working your way around it, it really is very easy to work your way around the back office. So in summary, ASEA will become one of the biggest companies within the health, wellness and anti-aging industries of all time. I have no doubt about that. We have a unique technology. It's a unique time in history. So few people know about this. The products are incredible. And this is, in my opinion, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for people who want to be involved in helping us to deliver this to the markets of the world. And we are sitting on the doorstep of the biggest markets in Asia on the planet. So very, very exciting time. So time for action, time to get going. If you're ready to go, good time to get started. No time like the present. You want to change your life, change something in your life, and we can show you how to do that very, very quickly. So let's just go into some very quick training, some very, we call quick start training. I'll just explain some things to you. So your mindset, what you're looking to do is to identify and refer us to people who want to make some changes and right now. And those changes could be for their health, but they also could be for their wealth, and often those two are interlinked. In my case, it was more to do with wealth. 3 years ago, I didn't have any. I won't go into my story, but through various decisions that I had made that maybe weren't so good, I was in a position where I had lost everything. And so I was very keen, very excited to try and regain some income and regain some affluence. And so I came to this very much to generate an exit strategy, an exit plan financially. But there are a lot of people who also come at this from the wellness point of view as well. So you can come in to build a business or being a preferred customer. It's as you choose. The reason this is a very good slide is that when you start in a business like this and you're dealing with people, it can be somewhat of an emotional roller coaster. And the reason that is that if you're new to a business like this, you may be thinking of people right now that you think would be very good at building the business. They should be very excited about this. And then you'll make contact with them, and for one reason or another, maybe the timing's not right, or they don't see it right now, or they're happy doing what they're doing. Well, don't be discouraged. Equally, there might be people that you do not think will be very excited or not ready to build a business like this, and they are. And so you can go on a roller coaster emotionally when you build a business like this. The best way to build a business like this is emotionally neutral. So you avoid the mountaintops and you avoid the valleys. and you just kind of go through the mechanics and build the basics, do the basics of building a business. The analogy often I use with people is that if you had a plumbing business, you're a plumbing contractor, and you go out in a week and give 10 quotes, you most likely won't get 10 jobs. You'll get maybe 2, 3, 4 jobs, and that'll be the norm. Then you understand that not everybody is going to accept your quote. The timing might be right. They might think you're too expensive. They might think you're too cheap. But you understand that's the process of numbers in building a business. No different with a business like this. It's absolutely the same. Some will, some won't, and that's fine. So the 3 types of people that you'll come across as you start helping us to drive this to market. There'll be people that will get it straight away. I've come across many of those. They just get it, the penny drops straight away. They become what we call red apples. They become active. They open their account straight away and they get going at a rate of knots. I've had many people that have done that. And then we have the green apples, and they're the people that, okay, they've got questions, and that's fine. We have a lot of information. Certain personality types are the question askers. They're the melancholies. They generally have a lot of questions and want a lot of information. They're the kind of people who like to dot the I's and cross the T's. Nothing wrong with that. We have lots of validation, lots of information. And then we have what we call the no's. They look like rotten apples, but they're not rotten people. There's just the timing's not right for them. The opportunity's not right for them. They may not be in the looking zone now. They may never be in the looking zone. So what we're looking for the red apples. And what I found in the years that I've been developing organizations like this is that if I'm a red apple, I tend to attract a red apple. If I'm a rotten apple, I'll tend to probably attract rotten apples. That kind of seems to be the way of the world, that red apples seem to attract other red apples, and green apples attract green apples. And so if you find red apples, you want to find red apples, you'll find red apples, and then those red apples attract other red apples. And then you end up with an organization of lots of red apples, lots of people that are incredibly excited about building this and helping us drive this to the markets all over the world. And you have explosions going on all over the world, and while you're sleeping at night, your business is growing. It's very exciting. I just want to close, thank you, Bart, on this next slide. Once a year, ASEA runs a global conference, and if you have an interest in developing the ASEA as a business to the significant levels, and I'm talking to those of you who want to look at this seriously as making a difference, making a significant amount of residual income, and really for me, with most people, at least in Australia, if you generate somewhere north of $10,000 a month of passive income, it really allows you a good exit strategy, I think. Now, the benefit of coming to Las Vegas to attend this function is all of the people that are making the money in the world of ASEA will be here. And I go to these events to learn from those that are, to learn what they're doing, to learn how I might be able to do better, build my organization better, stronger, faster. And I would just encourage you that the powers of association in an industry like this are very, very powerful. You will not come back from this event unchanged. For many of you, you will make some very significant decisions at this event in Las Vegas, and you will come back, I promise you, you'll come back a changed person with incredible belief, with incredible information and knowledge about how to build this quicker and faster and better. And that's why I also will be there at this event in September, and very much looking forward to it. Thank you, Bart. So what now? Call the person who invited you. Join us on this amazing journey. The earlier you do, the better your position will be. Again, most people in the world still never heard of this, still not heard of these molecules, but they will. Last year in 2018, as a company, we grew at 53%. We are now on the J curve. We are growing very, very quickly. We expect to double our turnover in the next 18 months, which is very fast. And so the sooner you get started, the better your position will be, and the better your future will look as well. Thank you for allowing me to share with you this evening. I hope it's been of benefit to you. If you've been on this webinar for the first time, please get back to the person that invited you and ask them for information. Ask them how you open your account, how you get started, and please help us to deliver this amazing technology to the world. And just in closing, thank you very much, Bart, for being my co-pilot. I'm going to hand the controls back to you. Thank you very much for doing that, Bart. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure, Mal. Thank you so much for doing the expert in the house today. And as Mal said, get with the person who invited you back on this call today. It's a remarkable time, as Mal had mentioned, to jump in, make a big splash, and let's change some lives. Thank you again.
My pleasure. Thanks, Bart. Good evening, everyone. See you very soon.
Bye now.
Cheers. Thank you, Bart.